You stare at the confirmation screen. Your stomach sinks into your shoes. You feel that heavy, familiar guilt. Why did you buy that? You did not even need it. Now your credit card balance climbs. Your savings goals feel further away. You promised yourself this month would change. Yet you repeated the exact same cycle. The boxes arrive at your doorstep. You feel a brief flash of excitement. Then the dark cloud of regret settles. This pattern makes you feel powerless. You look at your bank account. You feel an intense, crushing frustration. Your hard work vanishes into thin air. You wonder why your willpower fails. You feel like a financial failure. The hidden pain is even deeper. This habit is stalling your life. You stay trapped in your job. You delay buying your first home. You lie awake sweating at midnight. This destructive pattern isolates you from your future. You feel paralyzed every time you look at your growing debt. You hide the shopping bags from your partner. You delete the confirmation emails out of sheer shame. You keep telling yourself that next week will be different, but the urge always returns with a vengeance. This is not a budgeting issue. This is a neurochemical trap engineered against you. Your brain is reacting to a hidden force called the Zeigarnik effect. You are fighting a war against your own evolutionary biology. Stay with me. You likely believe you lack discipline. You tell yourself you are lazy. You think you just need a better spreadsheet. It makes total sense you believed this explanation. Every financial guru tells you to cut back on lattes. The internet screams at you to just try harder. They blame your character for your empty savings account. They want you to believe that a simple lack of grit is your ultimate downfall. You copy complex budgeting systems from financial influencers online. You set up aggressive text alerts for every minor transaction. You cross your fingers and pray for more strength when temptation strikes. Here is the problem with that. Willpower is a finite physical resource. Restraint drains your energy throughout the day. Blaming your lack of discipline only treats the superficial symptom. It completely ignores the deeper emotional cause. You can change your budget every single week. You can download 5 different tracking apps. You can delete your credit card numbers from your browser. None of it will stick until you fix the core issue. Your brain is not actually craving the physical item. Your brain is desperately hunting for a subconscious chemical escape. You are experiencing an internal phenomenon known as affective forecasting. This hidden mechanism completely distorts how you view your future happiness. It rewrites your financial reality without your conscious permission. It forces you to overestimate how much joy a purchase will bring. You buy the promise of a feeling, not an actual object. Do you actually like the things you buy, or do you just like the person you hope they make you become? A groundbreaking study by the Journal of Consumer Research exposes the truth about your shopping habits. Researchers discovered that your brain experiences the highest surge of pleasure before you ever hand over your money. The act of anticipation triggers massive neurological rewards, while the actual ownership of the item causes an immediate emotional crash. This scientific proof confirms your impulse buying is an emotional regulation strategy, not a consumer preference. You are trying to soothe your mind, not fill your closet. You are self-medicating your stress with transactions. To break this cycle, you must understand the 3 specific mechanisms driving your behavior. These internal forces dictate how you spend every single dollar. They control your hand when you click the checkout button. They operate entirely beneath your conscious awareness. Once you see them, you can finally disarm them. You can reclaim your financial power the moment you expose these hidden triggers. You will no longer be a victim of your own neural pathways. These 3 psychological drivers are anticipatory dopamine, identity gap, and narrative completion. The first mechanism is anticipatory dopamine. This is the neurochemical pleasure spike your brain releases during the hunt for a purchase. Your brain floods your nervous system with excitement while you scroll through online stores or browse retail aisles. For example, you spend hours adding designer shoes to your digital cart on a stressful Tuesday afternoon. Your brain rewards you for the possibility of buying, creating an intense emotional high. The neurological truth is that dopamine is the chemical of anticipation, not satisfaction. Once you purchase the shoes, the chemical flood stops and guilt rushes in. Your brain immediately resets to its baseline state, leaving you stranded with regret. You realize that the excitement lived purely in the pursuit, never in the possession. Buying delivers chemical hope instead of physical utility. The second mechanism is identity gap. This is the painful psychological distance between who you are and who you want to be. Your mind uses retail purchases to instantly bridge the uncomfortable space between your current reality and your fantasy self. For instance, you buy an expensive professional blender because you want to become a healthy, organized fitness enthusiast. Your brain tricks you into believing that owning the object means you have achieved the lifestyle. This happens because your prefrontal cortex confuses purchasing an identity with practicing an identity. You mistake the acquisition of tools for the development of real habits. Every time you buy a piece of gear, you feel like you have taken a real step forward. In reality, you have only completed a transaction. Buying the item is always easier than doing the actual work. The third mechanism is narrative completion. This is your psychological drive to resolve unfinished mental loops through commercial transactions. Your mind craves wholeness and views unbought items as stressful, open files that require closure. For example, you leave a pair of headphones in your online cart and your mind obsesses over them for 3 straight days. This happens because your brain experiences the Zeigarnik effect, which is our innate tendency to remember uncompleted tasks much better than completed ones. Your subconscious mind views the unpurchased item as an irritating, unfinished story that you must resolve. The open cart creates an intolerable level of cognitive friction that hums quietly in the background of your day. You do not even want the item anymore, but your brain cannot let the tension go. You buy the item simply to make your brain stop obsessing. Narrative resolution creates the illusion of mental peace. Now that you understand the 3 mechanisms, here is what to actually do about them. You can bypass your biological triggers by using a simple framework called the friction architecture system. This method builds a psychological barrier between your emotional impulses and your financial wallet. It stops you from acting on autopilot when your brain experiences an emotional spike. The first step is dopamine detour. This means you separate the pleasure of browsing from the act of spending. You add items to a wish list today, but completely forbid yourself from checking out. This works because your brain gets the chemical high from searching without draining your bank account. The second step is identity audit. This means you evaluate purchases based on your actual daily behavior. You ask yourself if you will use the item within 48 hours. This works because it forces your prefrontal cortex to confront your current reality instead of your fantasy. The third step is loop interruption. This means you close your browser tabs to wipe your mental slate clean. You delete the active shopping carts that are draining your subconscious focus. This works because removing the visual cue completely breaks the power of the Zeigarnik effect. By implementing the friction architecture system, you finally dismantle the false belief that you lack willpower. You now see that discipline is not the problem. You do not need more restriction or harsher budgets. You simply need a systematic way to manage your brain chemistry. You are finally controlling the cause instead of managing the symptom. You break the back of effective forecasting by injecting real-time logic into your neural patterns. You prove to yourself that your money problems are entirely about behavior, never about simple math. You were not broken when you made those impulse purchases. You were simply running an outdated emotional program in a world designed to exploit your biology. That version of you is changing right now. You are no longer a passive consumer reacting blindly to subconscious stress. You are becoming a person who understands their mind and controls their money. You are stepping into a life where your wallet is a tool for freedom, not a band-aid for anxiety. This awareness shifts how you view every store, every ad, and every digital checkout screen. You see the traps clearly before you ever step into them. Imagine waking up next month without a single ounce of financial dread. You look at your bank account and see your savings consistently growing. You walk through stores completely immune to the marketing traps that use to trigger your spending. You experience genuine peace because your money aligns with your true values. You possess the mental space to build real, lasting wealth. You feel an immense sense of pride when you review your monthly statements. Your relationships improve because the hidden money tension completely dissolves. You look toward your retirement years with absolute confidence and excitement. You are finally steering your own financial ship. You have the power to rewrite your financial story today. If you want to keep understanding the psychology behind your money, not just the math, subscribe. Next time, you will discover how a hidden mental trap called hyperbolic discounting secretly forces you to sacrifice your long-term retirement security for immediate, trivial rewards.